Hey everyone, so today we're going to be talking about buying versus rent. So some folks might be wondering, is it better to buy a home or is it more convenient for me to rent? So there's a few things that you guys have to look into, of course. If you're not going to be, if you don't have enough funds or, if you're not committed to it, but we're going to go through all these points right here. And I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me real quick, okay? So today we're going to talk about buying versus renting, okay? And this is very important to understand, and it might be just, a reality for some of y'all that renting is better off for now, maybe for a little bit while you get yourself organized and set to go, and then ready to buy a home. So of course, y'all know, my name is Sharon Barnes, and I am in Team Vernon with Blanchard and Calhoun. So I hope you guys learn a little bit from today's video, and feel free to please let me know if there's a specific topic that you would like me to discuss and share with you guys. So, when is it smart to rent? When is it smart to buy? The pros and cons of home ownership, okay? Sometimes the key to happiness is the right home. Yeah, of course. I got my sweet tea right here. Homemade. So reasons to rent. If you do not have any credit whatsoever, you have not established credit, or you hurt your credit in the past and you're kind of rebuilding it, you can talk to a lender, and if you don't have a lender preference, you can let us know, and we'll connect you with some great lenders and custom mortgage. So, sometimes you're better off just kind of waiting a little bit and renting, or if you have someone, like family that you can stay for a little bit while you rebuild that credit, then it's better off to wait, not better off buying, because you might buy either not be able to, or maybe you get a little bit too high of a rate. Another reason that, you're better off renting for now until you get your stuff ready is if you have a high debt to income ratio. So if you have too much in debt and bills to pay in a month versus what you're bringing in, you might be better off renting until, again, you start paying off those credit cards, paying off the, other miscellaneous bills, and kind of sitting down and say, hey, do I really need this subscription? Like for whatever, shoes or whatever other things you're paying on a monthly basis that you could be saving towards owning your own home. If you like an emergency fund, say for like, hey, something happened, there's a furlough, or something happened with your job or the government or whatever, like 2020 has been a crazy year, right? So if you don't have emergency funds to cover your mortgage and some of your family needs for, say, 3 to 6 months, then you're better off waiting until you are ready for that. Have it on a separate account that you don't use all the time. And of course, another reason to kind of rent for a little bit, and that doesn't mean that you have to rent forever, is if you don't have enough savings for closing costs. Sometimes we are able to negotiate part of the closing costs, but you should never rely on that. You should have enough of closing costs if you can. If it's something that you can get it, great. But right now, this is a seller's market, and it's very difficult to, submit an offer and present it as a strong offer if you right off the bat don't have enough for closing costs. And that has happened. Sadly, buyers can't get the home that they want or they need for their family just because they don't have enough for closing costs. And while they may be pre-approved with everything else, it's just not having enough for closing costs is positioning yourself lower over there. Right now, there's more buyers than there are sellers, so that means that there's not enough houses and people are in bidding wars for homes. Okay, so be ready to save if that means renting for a little bit, whether it's 6 months to a year, and while you can get enough for closing costs, whether you can get your emergency funds, together, and then you lower your debt to income ratio, and then you also ensure that you have a decent credit score. Okay. Now, for all these questions and more details about the credit score that you need for, like, you know, what is your ideal debt to income ratio, how much do you have in emergency funds, or how much are going to be your closing costs, that will depend on your personal and unique situation. Closing costs will depend on the property you want, and then you will have to, I can connect you with a lender again so that they can, that's their area of specialty, and they can, you know, talk about it better. So just let me know. Now, I wanted to share this with you guys because some might not believe that owning a home might actually end up saving you money. But, you know, this is why you might find a little apartment or a little tiny house that you can find the rent for $800 a month, right? And, you know, a more decent home you can find for a mortgage payment of $1,000. To be like, well, you know, like I'm paying more in a mortgage than a rent. I can pay less in the rent. Yes, even if it was the same size and the same exact same thing, what happens? The rent increases, you know, every year by about a 5%. And what happens is this rent that started as an 800, next year you know, it's 840. I mean, not a big deal. All right. So the third year comes around and now you're here. But if you were to be here from the get-go, you would still be here if you get a fixed rate. Your monthly payment did not go up. However, your rent did. At this point, you know, you're losing. But if you would have had your home, if it was your mortgage, you'll be already saving. You'll be here. And as the years go by, you'll be saving more. You know, we can sit down, we can talk over the phone about this a little better, and I can explain a little better. But I just kind of wanted to share this because I'm a very visual person, and you know, I know some of y'all are too. So, you know, in addition to this, you know, the reason number one, long-term savings, as this table here explains. Reason number two, build your own equity and assets, not someone else's. When you rent, you're paying their mortgage, you're paying their assets, their equity. So their net worth continues to grow, but yours is not going anywhere. So if you want to start building some kind of wealth, some kind of, you know, net worth, you just want that sense of accomplishment, which is another one that we're going to discuss, you know, more reasons to buy. If you need more reasons to buy on the previously discussed, okay, so let's talk about cash on appreciation. So when you buy at the right price, you can start building equity, and you know, and you can enjoy the comfort of your own home and all that. And then as the years go by, you will more than likely, depending on what you buy, where you buy it, and for how much, you will be able to bank some money after that. Now, how do you know if you're buying for the right price or selling for the right price? You need to hire a realtor. You know, my team and I would love to discuss your selling and buying process, and you know, what works in the best interest for you, because every situation is unique. Now, one of the common things is like when people try to list their home for themselves, that or with a realtor that's not very knowledgeable in the market, it might overprice it. And what happens is it sits there and no showings. And then people start questioning what's wrong with the house. It's been sitting there for like 50, 60 days or longer and not one showing. So at that point, that is doing a disservice to the client, because the client is still paying for that mortgage. You're paying for that mortgage. You're paying for those taxes. You're paying for the insurance, possibly HOA as well, and all these other bills. But then you're not selling it, right? And the same thing with a house. If you know, your realtor needs to know the market well, so that they can tell you if the asking price is reasonable, or if they're being unreasonable, or if this is priced to sell because, oh my goodness, you know, this is lower than what the market would allow them. So you need to, you know, do X, Y, or Z. This is why you need to hire an knowledgeable realtor. And instead of just doing it by yourself or just hiring someone that, you know, you just don't even know what value they can bring to you, okay? Now, tax deductions. This is a real good one, okay? So you could, if you're itemizing your taxes, you could deduct some of the interest in your mortgage taxes. You need to talk to your accountant for this for more details, but those are one of the perks of owning, okay? Renovate. You can renovate, you can modify, you can paint in whatever way you want. Make it your home, make it your style, your, you know, your character. Sense of accomplishment. You can't tell me that the day that you close in that house and you get those keys and you can tell everyone in your family, I got my own home, okay? You can't tell me that there is no sense of pride and accomplishment in that, because there is. Another great, and this is like really important for a lot of people, stability. When you rent, you know, more than likely you're gonna move, whether it's in a year or 2 years, you know, to a different rental, or, you know what I mean? Because the rent goes up and goes up, and, you know, if you don't renew within a certain time, you gotta move on, and you decide whether you go to a larger place or a smaller place or a different side of town or whatever the case is. But when you buy a home and you remain in that neighborhood for a long time, you're not only building long-lasting relationships, but you're teaching your children, if you have kids, about, you know, the importance of relationships and fostering those relationships and maintaining those relationships for a long term. Those are important and critical skills that, you know, owning a home will actually help you foster those. So you can be next. You know what to do. Give me a call, 571-293-0606. I'll put my contact information here. Sharon Barnes, Realtor, Team Vernon, Blanchard and Calhoun. So my Facebook page is down there, facebook.com/Sharon Barnes Realtor. If you have not liked and followed my page, please do so now, or you're gonna be missing out. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoy this and have an amazing rest of your day.